You could start YouTube just shooting from your phone, but I'm a bit of a sucker for gear. So in this video, I want to show you some of the gear I've got, the different types of things that I've got, and why I use the gear that I use in different situations. If you listen to a lot of the advice out there when you're starting YouTube, most people will tell you just start with what you have, start with your phone. And while I agree with this advice, I've collected some gear along the way. I think a lot of YouTubers do, and we get things for different reasons. So using your phone is usually, the basic thing, get started with your phone, but then you start to add something to that. And over time, you start to collect a bunch of gear that you needed for a specific reason. So I just want to show today the different stuff that I have, the different scenarios that I use it in, because I get a lot of comments of people saying, how did you get that shot, or what did you do to make your other shots look better in certain situations. So to answer some of those questions, I'm just going to show you everything I have and what I use it for. Well, what I started with when I started shooting was just using my phone. There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you that too. Just shoot with what you have. Use what's in your pocket and just get the video started, get it going. There's a lot of advantages to that. You always have it with you, and the quality is actually really good. There's a lot of people that use uh, iPhones or Android phones, whatever you have. There's a lot of people that use them for YouTube, and that's all that you used, and they do really well. I think it depends on what your format and what your style is, on whether it's going to work for you. But I think for the majority of people, the phone that you have in your pocket is just good enough to get started. If you are just shooting with your phone and you're just getting started, there's a couple upgrades that'll actually elevate this to a new level, especially if you're doing, a lot of people like to do selfie shots where they're kind of walking around. DJI actually makes a couple of these. I think this is a year old now, and they have a newer version of it, but it pretty much operates the same. So you just take a gimbal and you put your phone on the gimbal, and it holds your phone steady so you don't get all the shaking, and when you're editing and post, it makes it a lot easier for you to hold the shot steady and just get a better picture quality out of when you're shooting, when you're walking around trying to do selfie shots and stuff like that. So it's pretty simple to set up, and you just put your phone on the gimbal itself. It'll kind of balance itself, and then it has a tripod on it, so you can either hand hold it and walk around and film outwardly, or you can film yourself on selfie style. And it has some buttons and stuff that you can control your phone through. This is really helpful. I still use this a lot. I used it actually for my last video. This particular model, this is the 7P, I believe, has this module on here that will track where your face goes. It'll track where your body goes. So if you put it helps to shoot. It helps when you're shooting by yourself and you don't have anybody else to help you out. So if you put it into a spot where you turn on the tracking, and then you can kind of move around and it'll follow you where you're going. The other thing is it has this extendable arm here, so it'll help you if you're doing a selfie shot. You kind of extend it out a little further, or if you just need a little more, if you want to put it down on a surface, and you can use it to get a little more height out of your shot. So I want to say that this came with a DJI Mic Mini too, which the Mic Mini is just a small version of the lapel mic, and it connects wirelessly to this device too. So as long as this is connected to your phone, then you have audio through your mic, and you can set that up on your, add it to your shirt and have really good quality audio, which is another huge thing when you're starting out. Speaking of microphones, there's a couple different options out there to get. The DJI microphones are what I've used in the past and continue to use. I have a couple different versions. I have the Mic Mini, which came with my gimbal, and it just came with the Mic Mini by itself. But there is a package that's really affordable for I think like $89, where you can get two Mic Minis and the transceiver and the charging case all together. And that's a good purchase. I actually wouldn't mind picking that up. I don't have it, but I do have the Mic Mini, and I've been really pleased with the quality that comes out of the Mic Mini when you're speaking to it. I have the DJI Mic 2 as well, which I have the full case, and it has the two transmitters and then the transceiver that comes with it, and the case itself is a charging case. So when you put these back into the case, it recharges the batteries and the transceiver for you, and then you just charge the case via USB-C on the back. Now this is a really good option because for me, I put it on my mirrorless camera, and the transceiver goes onto the hot shoe of the mirrorless camera with a little adapter that DJI sells as well. And that really elevates my audio from just using the on-camera microphone, which probably isn't the greatest microphone in the world. And a lot of people, if you're going to use an external camera like that, a lot of people will use either a shotgun mic or some sort of wireless microphone like this system right here. Another benefit over the Mic Mini with the Mic 2 is it has internal storage. So you can actually hit a record button right here on the side of the Mic Mini, or I'm sorry, the side of the DJI Mic 2, and it'll record on the inside. It'll keep it has some storage space, so you just plug that into your computer and you can take the audio file off. And that's really helpful for if you're doing stuff like, I'll show you later, when I fly one of those drones, they don't have any way of, they do have a way of connecting audio, but it's not as good. But to sync up the audio, you can just use one of these, hit record, and sync it up in post, and it works really well. The audio quality on these, which is what I'm using right now, I think is really good. Another thing that I have used in the past, and I haven't used this in a long time because I changed the style of shooting, but if you are shooting in an office or some sort of room where there's not a lot of light, you're gonna want some extra light. It's really gonna help the quality of your video. I picked one of these up that you can just mount to your desk. This is a newer, and it's just a LED panel. I think this is a 15-inch panel, but you screw this into something like an arm like this, and then mount it to your desk and have it just off camera to light your face, and it gives really a much better quality picture for low light situations, or if you just want to add extra light, or a key light or a fill light or something. These are really good, and you can get multiple of them, and they really help with the overall quality of what your video looks like, especially if you're shooting at your desk all the time. Just have it there all the time where you can just turn it on, turn it off whenever you need it. You know what's crazy about this is the newest piece of gear that I'm using, I haven't showed you yet, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, but I'm really excited because this is the first time I've really used it in a video, and it's really helping me a lot in this whole process of shooting and getting my framing right and everything, but I'll show you that later. Also, I have a PDF guide that I made, and it's free. If you want it, the link is in the description down below. One of the other pieces of equipment that I have to show you that I haven't showed you yet, and I used to use this, but I don't use it anymore. It's actually, I've got all this dust on it right now. I haven't used it in such a long time. It's just been sitting. But a teleprompter. When I used to do scripting, I used to use this teleprompter. This is an Elgato teleprompter, and it's a really nice teleprompter. I don't script anymore. I kind of use bullet points, and I just go, more just talking to you is how I do it now. But I used to, and I might go back to it at some point, and there might be certain reasons for using scripts. If you need to record something that has a lot of data that you need to remember or something like that. Or a lot of people like to use scripts. I personally find it harder, so I don't do it, but it might just be a skill that I need to learn and work on. But if I do go back to scripting, this is what I'll use, and this is the Elgato teleprompter. There are other teleprompters out there. I think Newer makes one that is competitive to this one. But the nice thing about this teleprompter is that it has this, it shows up in the screen itself. So when you're looking at the teleprompter, you see the words here, and your lens is actually behind this panel, or this, it's not really glass, it's more of a plastic panel, but the screen is actually down here, and then it reflects into that, and you see that. The nice thing about it is when you put your script in there, one of the features that this software has is that it will follow what you're saying. So it has like AI that's in the software that listens to what you're saying through your microphone, and then it follows along in the script. So you don't have to have a scrolling script where you have to keep up with it. It'll keep up with how fast or slow you talk with it. So it's really nice. I think they make a bigger version of this. Since I bought this one, I think there's a bigger version of it, which I probably would recommend. Sometimes it's hard to see the scripts and stuff on there. But this is, again, Elgato, and then I think Newer. If you need a teleprompter, I would look into the competitor that they make from Newer, the company Newer, and they make a lot of lighting equipment and stuff like that. Another piece of equipment that I use, I don't use this one as much either, but this was one that I used to use a little bit when I first started, just to get some external shots of like my yard, my backyard, and just some shots that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get, some aerial shots. And it's a drone. This one is the DJI. It's a few years old. It's the Mavic 2 Pro, and it has a Hasselblad camera, so the camera is really good on it. And I don't use this very much anymore, but it is cool to have. It's not really necessary at all, but it's good for certain situations. So if you're maybe you're out at the beach and you're wanting, a nice overhead picture to give some context to what you're talking about, or you can do all kinds of shots worth, show them where, if you're out somewhere with the kids or something, you can get an overview shot of everybody playing and things like that. So it's a good tool. Not something I would highly recommend for the money, unless it's, if you're not going to use it a lot. I don't use it a lot. I bought it originally for photography, for real estate photography that I used to do. But for video, I don't use it a whole lot. However, there are a couple drones that I think are cheap and that I do use, and they're able to get almost do the same thing, maybe not to the extent that this one will do, and not as good a video quality, but they will get some shots that I can't get any other way. And let me go grab those and I'll show them to you. And I say those because I have a couple of different ones. I have two. These are the DJI Neo. There's the Neo 1 and then the Neo 2. Now, of course, as it is with gear, when you buy something, they always come out with the sequel of it or an updated version of it, like soon after you buy it. So I bought this a few months ago and I really liked it. One of the features I like about this is that it doesn't need a controller. So I can launch this drone. It has a little camera on it. the quality is not as good as the other drone camera that I have, of course, but it's because it's tiny, it's small, but I can launch this and I can put it anywhere I want. So I can launch it and it's like an extra tripod that I can put anywhere I want, and it'll just sit there and get points of view that I wouldn't be able to get with other cameras like a tripod or anything like that. So it's really helpful in getting creative shots. It'll do some other things, like it'll follow me if I want it to follow me and stuff like that. So it's a really cool drone to have. And they're not expensive. This one, I think right now, this is the first generation. You can get it for maybe $200 by itself. You don't need anything else. It comes with the battery and that's all you need. You don't need a controller or anything like that. You can get a controller for it and it ups the capabilities. You can go further with it and stuff like that. So this was a really cool drone to have. Then they came out with the Neo 2, which is also a really cool drone to have. And this one does everything that the first one does, but it has some added features to it. One of them is being able to change the settings on the outside. It has a little LED display right here, and you can change the settings on like with just your hands. You don't need a controller or the app or anything like that. You can do all that there. So that's helpful. And then it has some extra settings. It's got some extra capabilities where it dodges obstacles better. It has better sensing on that. And you can also control this with your hand. You can actually gesture to it and make it move with your hand, kind of Jedi tricks you can do with this one. So when they came out with this one, like I said earlier, I'm a sucker for gear, so they sold me on the extra capabilities, and I'll show you some of the things that this does in a minute, and how this is what I was talking about earlier with syncing my mic to checking my mic. Syncing my mic to this. This doesn't sync up directly to this without hooking it up to your phone. It'll sync to your mic with the phone hookup, but then the quality is Bluetooth and it kind of degrades it a little bit. So what I do is I just record on my DJI Mic 2 separately, and then I sync it with the video from the drone footage. And that seems to work really well. And I'll take it outside right now and show you a couple of the shots that I'm able to get with this. One of the coolest features with these drones is the ability to put what is called spotlight mode. So if I want to put a camera like right here or anywhere really, and just have it kind of follow me, and it's kind of like a tripod in the air. So I'll turn this mode on and have it just hover there, and it'll follow me and watch what I do, basically, and be an extra camera that I wouldn't be able to do just with a tripod. Or, it just makes it easier. But I can move it around too, and I'll show you that here in a second. So if I turn it on and put it into spotlight mode, and
spotlight, 3, 2, 1.
So if I put it right there, it's gonna follow me and it's gonna track me wherever I go. If you could see, it's kind of moving with me as I move around, and it's a really cool mode to be in. And I can set this up and have it be an extra camera for me. I'm gonna hit. I think I told it something on accident there with my hand gesture. I'm gonna clap so that I can sync my video from this with the audio from this and be able to know where to sync it all up in post. But one of the cool features, and it just happened here on accident, but is you can put your hand out and gesture your hand and move this now wherever you want it to go. And so now it'll stay there and it'll still track me and still move around with where I want to go. If I want to move it backwards a little bit, or higher or lower or whatever, so I can put two hands up and move it backwards, and have it be back there now where it's tracking me and still moving around following me. And it's just an extra camera. It gives me an extra point of view, and then I can use that in my editing to give a different perspective and add some depth and some, I don't know if depth's the right word, but just add some variety to keep the viewer engaged, to just add another layer to my video. The other thing this will do is if I want to kind of walk and have it be a camera in front of me, first off, let me tell it to come back. It'll come back to me with just putting my hand out like this. So the other thing I can do with this is I can put it into a mode where it's going to track where I go, but I can have it go in front of me. So let me find that mode here.
Clicks. Boomerang. Follow.
Okay, so right now it's in front of me. It's going to be in front of me, and it's going to follow me. So let's see how this works.
Front. Follow. 3, 2, 1.
So it's set up now. So again, what I'm going to try to tell it to do, well, first of all, I need to sync my audio. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll walk, and it should stay in front of me when I'm walking. So I'm walking around, and if I turn this way, it should just go ahead and track and go in front of me again. And so that's one of the features. And you can still use the hand gestures while you do this to change where it's at. So if I wanted to tell it go over there, now it's going to track me from the side, and it tries to, there's some obstacles there that it was trying to avoid, so it'll try to avoid those obstacles. And I can put it higher if I want and have it still track me. It's moving around a bit much right now, a little shaky, but that's probably the wind kind of blowing it around, and it's trying to adjust to how I'm walking and all that. But the feature is really cool, and you can see if people do want to do walk and talks and stuff like that, it would be a helpful tool to use. Now you're kind of limited by how long the battery lasts, and I think on this lasts about 8 to 12 minutes, depending on, different factors like wind and stuff like that. But it's a really cool tool. I want to show you some other shots that this will do just by pressing a button, and it'll kind of do these creative shots for you automatically. switched cameras. I switched my iPhone with the gimbal that I showed you earlier for it so that I can show you the camera that I have been shooting on for this video. This is my mirrorless camera. This is the Sony ZV-E10 II. This is a very popular camera for video. Sony makes some really good mirrorless cameras that have really good auto zoom. They have a lot of the features that higher end cameras have at kind of an entry level price. So this is what I've been using for a long time. And actually this is a different lens, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I had a different lens on it before that actually my camera fell. The tripod fell the other day, about a week ago, landed straight on my camera. I had the kit lens on here, landed straight on the lens and broke it. So I had to get a new lens. So lenses are not cheap, and that was not a fun buy. But the nice thing is I have a nice lens now. But the DJI, the transceiver or receiver or whatever it's called, goes on here. This is how it mounts, if you can see that. So there's like an adapter that you can get from DJI that mounts onto the Sony body, and then you slide the DJI. This is for the Mic 2. I think they make this adapter for the Mic 3 also, but I don't think it's available for the Mic Mini. I think the Mic Mini, you have to use one of these ports and wire it into your camera on the side, which is not a huge deal. It's just it's just a lot easier workflow when you can just pop it on. I just leave the adapter on, it folds up like that. I leave the adapter on and I just pop this on there, put my mic on, and I'm ready to go. So it makes life a lot easier. The other thing I got with this camera, this lens, when I bought this lens the other day, is I got a neutral density ND filter to go on the front. So this allows me to it's kind of like sunglasses for your lens, and it allows me to shoot outside in bright daylight and still get that bokeh, they call it bokeh, that smooth background effect, and keep my shutter speed down to 24 frames per second with this, and you can adjust this separately. So that's a really nice handy feature to have, and if you saw the footage that I used with this a little while ago, that's what I have on there to be able to get that kind of mushy background. This is a really cool upgrade, and I would recommend it if you have the money to get a new lens. This is a f2.8 lens, and it goes from 18 to 50, which is it's similar to the kit lens for this camera. It just doesn't go down to 16. But the nice thing is the aperture goes all the way to 2.8 and it stays there. So this was a nice buy for me, but my most recent purchase is what I really have been wanting to show you. So let me show you that. This is my latest buy right here, and this is it's called the Scorp 3 Pro, and it's a gimbal for small cameras, like mirrorless cameras like mine with small lenses. It doesn't carry a huge payload, and there's other ones that are from other companies. DJI makes one, probably the most comparable one to this from DJI is the RS4 Mini, but this one is about half the price of that, and it has a feature that one doesn't have that I want to show you in a second. This is the thing that I like the most about it. But let me show you what this does, because one thing, it's made for keeping your camera sturdy, and you can move it around and not have issues. Let me put the camera on and I'll show you. So once you have this on, it's designed to just kind of stay with you and not move around too much, so that you can get good steady shots to use for shooting, mostly I would guess other subjects, not really yourself. But the cool feature is that it does have it has a couple things on it that help me because I shoot by myself. I don't shoot with anybody else, and I use it sometimes for other videos that I make for other people, but for the most part I shoot by myself. So A couple of the features that are on here that I really like, and DJI, the Mini 4 has this feature, and it's this this module right here, which I don't know if you can see. This module right here, which is, they call it AI tracking. So I can set this down and have it look at me and follow me and track me with that AR signal. If I give it I'm going to give it a gesture here, and now it's looking at me and following me. So if I back up here, you can see that the camera is tracking me and it will follow me wherever I go. And it's really a cool feature to have when you're filming by yourself and you don't have anybody else, and you get some more unique shots this way where the camera is tracking you wherever you move. The other feature that I really like that the DJI does not have, but this one does have, is this handle right here that's on the end of it. Forget the blurriness, I'm trying to get this all shot here. This handle that comes off right here will also act as a way to put the camera where you want it. So I was using this all day today for this shoot as I was sitting down at the counter earlier, and it was really helpful to be able to control this and frame the shot, and it's got a record button on it. So if I hit record, now it's recording me and I can move it around and shoot wherever I want. See, I've got the controller right here for it's on the tripod now, and it's got the gimbal on the tripod. So with this detached, now if it's out of frame, I can just kind of move it back and put it in and then record. So it makes life a lot easier when I don't have to, if I'm recording by myself, I don't have to get up and constantly go and adjust the camera. I can do it all from here, all from, just this thumb, and I can see the screen right here. So I can get my framing correct, hit record and go. So all of the gear that I've got, I've kind of built it up over time and just found things for different uses that I would use, different shot types and stuff like that. Just mostly just to get more creative and have more fun with it. I think that's a big part of this is enjoying the process. As we do YouTube, one of the things I think a lot of people lose sight of is just the enjoyment of it. So getting these being able to be creative with this different equipment helps me a lot personally with being more creative, trying to come up with more ideas and essentially having more fun with it. So hopefully you found this helpful and useful, and you were able to get some ideas of how you can, implement some of that type of stuff in your workflow yourself. And like I said earlier, I've got a PDF that I created with some gear guides in it. So if you look at the description down there, there's a free PDF download, and it'll show you some of the gear that I've got in there and some of the use cases for it. So download that, and then thank you for watching.